Last we left off, the fates had been changed. And like a butterfly flapping its wings, history is changed as well. We go back all the way to what could only seem like a week or two since you arrived onto the material world from your time within the labyrinth. But we go back even further. Back inside the labyrinth. Where there is no meetup with any legion. There is no legate. No Monkey King emissary that meets you in there. No mention of having been searched for or looked after by Darnzok, a compatriot that you guys lost within the labyrinth 20 cycles ago or more. Due to the nature of fate changing, you guys don't come into contact with the individual from the Citadel that informs you to drink the potions for an extra 2 more days. The situation of you guys assaulting the Citadel is much dire. Alvina pushes herself further into a hardened form of an extremely protective daughter towards Sia, who strongly believes that even though she had a mother, that Sia is her mother. The rest of the venture through the Citadel, finding Kishoten, runs the same. You guys find her within the music box, save her from the music box, and upon resting and fare thee wells, boons gifted, words exchanged, leaving through a corridor of doors stretching endlessly in either direction, eventually chased by malformed creations that look like the statues of Goktengri. Before you guys are jettisoned out onto a wrecked ship, where you guys find what you have previously known to have found. Blackened Sun members, a note detailing the needance for the vessel to arrive at a city, but this time it is not Yingchuan, it is Kohaido. Escaping or leaving the vessel of this broken down ship on the shore, what you see isn't one of a burning tree, it is one of a bright and blooming peach tree. Untainted, unattacked. You guys have arrived back on the material world, not 24 years later, but 26 years later. Times have changed. Again. Give me 1 second. You guys head south, and still, you are picked up by Rikoshi and his Reavers. And that happens pretty much exactly the same as it happened before. Conversations and talks, the instances of a curse, tainted herbs and spices, the sort of dooming of the captain for purifying said spices, the conversion of some of the crew to the worship of Alvina and Kishoten. Guys arrive in Kohaido, very much different to Yingchuan, not as elaborate and large. There, you meet, instead of a queen, you meet the warlord, Sunshower, a fey beauty unlike any other, and the mother of a great many children. There, you guys meet Darnzok. They're in talks to create a hidden alliance between the two as the two nations' sort of underdogs. It is there during this whole time that you are sort of told or brought up to date in regards to what has been happening in the world since your guys' departure. There was an assault that was viewed to be upon the peach tree, but the champion was intercepted before that could happen. And during this interception, the peach tree was saved. But as unlike you knew it before, where the champion was weakened and had to merge with Oza, this time it's the opposite, where Oza was gravely wounded and then had to merge with the champion. The coup by the Zaibatsu to establish its own independent state within Arcosis sprung up momentarily. The war that happened between the North and the Middle raged before having to stop for just a little bit to deal with an underground threat. And then, at the peak of dealing with this underground threat, the champion disappeared. And then those on the surface were witness to what might have been a second son. And not 6 months later, a third son. And then the disappearance of the champion altogether. The Zaibatsu hold isn't as strong this time. And they get cooed. And then get counter-cooed again, splitting into two factions. Those under the artisans who wished for a more hard, industrialist, scientific endeavor, where innovation, research, and the pursuit of knowledge at any cost, towards the more status quo Zaibatsu. Because the tree isn't burnt, the spiritual hope of the people isn't as dire. And as such, changes to the south are made. The church pulls in rank and file, and those that were guarding the city of the Forsaken to stop the undead from leaving, leave. City no longer stopping. And instead of spare individuals and those sought from the Fae to create what used to be called the Keepers of the Watch, a large dividing trench to keep out the undead to a certain degree from the rest of Arcosis, is no longer made. The Khan of the Khaganate no longer seeks or needs a unified marriage between himself and the warlord of Bayanolgi. And as such, she is forced to hold a smaller state than once she had. The Khan lives for a couple more years before he is assassinated. And a aspiring member of a rival clan takes power, pushing for a more inclusive, tolerant leadership style, taking in refugees both from the Peruvian Republic and the Imperial Province. The Queen, now just warlord in this universe, pulls in what favors she can to keep hold both of what she has and to try and push back against the endless waves of undead that come from the city of Forsaken. So her first son, half Rikshasan, half Fae, pulls in a favor with his father. And all the Rikshasa in Arcosis go towards the now renamed city of Dhaka. There is talk now of what to do. And like before, all signs point to Chuangjin, where, once before, was the site of a possible warlord gem. But that situation has changed as well. The Warlord gems are no longer in their spots. There is word that an individual out there has been collecting them, harnessing them, and being a potential vessel of his own right, ruling the Blackened Sun, no longer in the employ of the Warlord of Bayan Olgi. Last known location was at Chongjin. So, a normal plan is hatched out, just like the ones that you guys have already made. You guys airship to Altai, to Kaesong, out to sea, where you guys discover that the ship is dealing with members of the unknown, a rogue mage within the shipwrights, a warforged on the ship, a meeting with another ship with another captain, which is where we got what happened yesterday. Cards were drawn, artifacts were stolen, ship falling out of the sky, and the death and resurrection of Sia. Thus is the turning wheel of fate created by one Ezekiel, paladin of the Queen of Cats.
Oh, is that what this is?
Yeah.
Fucking
I
hell.
claimed my card.
Okay. I was like, did I just drop into an alternate reality where I was playing D&D with these three people, but it's very slightly different? And then I got to that part, and it's like, oh no, that's right. I forgot about that.
As you guys all sleep after the high, intense night before, something happens. Twisting arcane energies, both primordial, divine, universal, twist and shift, swirling around the room, affecting you, taking hold. I'll get everyone to roll a d4 for me, please.
I don't have dice. I'll be back.
I rolled a 1. I have a rolling tray, but he has thrown it away. And he will be...
I rolled a 3.
You can't have the dice, bro. What are you doing?
Where's my d4? So, yes, for all intents and purposes, we are in a new universe.
Sick.
D4, did you say?
Yes, a d4.
4.
4. Right. And Mike, you got 3, did you say?
1. I got 1.
1. It was Brandon who got 3.
Yeah, I got 3.
Alright, sweet. And so we will start with Sia. During your deep sleep, Sia, it is calm and peaceful. And then you feel a tap on the shoulder. And soft words of, Sia, wake up, Sia.
Wait, stop.
Before you were sort of violently shaken awake. Opening your eyes to see that there is a androgynous figure standing before you. Light blue in skin, almost humanoid, feathered wings stretching from his back in a sort of priestly attire. Bald head. No hair whatsoever, it looks like. Sia, can you see me? Are you okay?
I can see you. Yes.
Excellent. Please, if you will, just get out of bed. We have something to discuss. It is of utmost importance.
Can I at least know who you are first?
My name is, inconsequential, and you couldn't pronounce it even if I told you. But please, I mean you no harm. If I did, I wouldn't have wakened you.
And I shall call you Blue Man.
I am fine with Blue Man. Unoriginal, but from what little we know of each other, that is suitable.
Right. Well, she gets up and goes to follow. Is anyone, like, are we in the bedroom right now?
As you are in the bedroom, and as you get up, there is a dark grey haze around. You see Ezekiel, Finch in their bed. You see Wessel in his bed. You see Wessel turning, twisting, his right arm still attached to a golden glaive. Now, Sia, I must ask you. When you talked to the ship, did it respond? Did it heed your command?
Why is that relevant?
Must know.
I can get it to listen to me.
That is a great start. If you can get it to listen, you can get it to do what you ask. By the Creator, this is wonderful news. Please, to the control room. There is something you must see.
Do I have any of my spell slots back?
No. You don't.
Great. This is... Alright. Can't think
You
of
go-
anything else to do, so I'll follow.
He goes right through the door. As you open the door and take a step, you are taking a step into the control room itself, as if it was right next door. The door closes behind you without you needing to close it, and there you see within the room is 2 piles of ash. One, where that rogue wizard tried to get you killed. And the other, you look down and realize, is what happened to you. And he goes, this is not the right time. And then you feel yourself walking back into the room again. This time, moments before. You see yourself screaming out in pain. Tendrils of erethic energy streaming from the ship's walls, the ceiling, the roof, latch onto you. Like rope, like cords, pulling you tight. Almost trying to squeeze the life out of you. You see yourself raise a hand, point a finger at the half-elf, still smirking to himself, assured of your demise, before he is pulled physically into the floor and then coughed out like dust. Before you see the cords around you tighten, taut, and then almost pull through you like fishing wire through butter. There is no gore. There is no blood. There is the soft, quiet of ash that falls onto the spot where you were, the moment of your death that you see. Looking at this blue man, you see that he is watching intently, looking about, looking at your reaction, looking at what's happening in the ship. And he looks confused, as if something is meant to have happened, before he is startled surprise, as you see from your pile of ash, your heroic, the emblem that you sustains you as the herald of your religion, the watcher symbol, the key to your divinity's realm, rises above, almost chest height, to where you normally would be if you were standing there, before a sleam slits through the very fabric, the emblem still in the middle. It opens. 2 sets of hands emerge out, and you immediately know those sets of hands is Alvina and Kashotan. The hands weave and turn, their fingers sprinkle and shake, while Alvina's soft and slow, Kashotan's more aggressive. And you see that it's Kashotan's hands that sort of work and pull. Strings come out from the walls, the energy of the ship being pulled into the emblem itself. And from Alvina's hands, flesh is made. You see them work at recreating you, reforming your image, making you whole again. Except there is a difference. The blood is different, fueled not by those of draconic lineage, like you are. The blood is being infused with divinic lineage, and the powers of the ship that you had once fed to it, it is now feeding back into you. As your new form is wholly made, you see it fall. The blue man snaps his finger and he goes, "Now, Sia, now in that moment, what do you remember what you were doing? When you spoke to the ship, what did you say? I just need to know, what did you tell the ship? What did you see when you were with the ship? Where were you?"
What did I see?
Yes, what did you see?
Add a character, what's his name again? Sorry.
The blue man?
No. The god.
Got angry?
Yes, thank you. I saw Gotenga, and then I told the ship to stop falling.
You saw got angry, but how can that be?
You are asking the wrong person.
No, I am asking the right person, Sia.
How the hell would I know?
You saw him, as you say so yourself. How was his image? How did he appear to you? Was he from someone, something, a shadow, an image? Where was his semblance from, Sia? Where did you see him in, Sia? Where did you see him in, Sia?
You pushed. And he's not going to answer.
Oh no, that's scary.
I apologize. Sia, I can see that I've made you tense. You know, I am on very important, quick, strict business, okay? And I apologize for pushing you hard on that. You know, you've seen Gokengri. You know, any additional questions is of my own violation and is not part of my constructed obligation. But you did see him. You admit to that. I only ask now. Did you see the soul of the ship? How was it? Was it well? Was it nourished?
Yes.
Thank the Maker. That is good. That means, Sia, that there is still time. I have to burden you with more tasks. I'm going to say, is that okay? But unfortunately, your acceptance is null and void. So is that okay?
You just said it's null and void. Just out with it.
I have been tasked, now that you have confirmed what is suspected, to freeing the souls connected to these ships.
Ow. Sorry. He's kind of trapped in the room with me, so that was very loud. Hang on one sec.
No worries.
Sorry about that. What would releasing the souls do?
It
From
would.
my understanding, they were demonic to start with.
Oh, that was just the first of their iterations. These artisans with their understanding of the other worlds and the planes, they are tampering with things, I would say, outside of their control, but it seems they have very much in their control. And their mother is quite upset that her children are being plucked from their nests and forced into servitude on these ships. Forced to work them. And as you have succeeded in talking to one of these children that know you, the very fact that it is possible is quite joyous. It gives their mother and even their grandmother much hope, of which I'm sure you are very much knowledgeable on, hey? Hope and all that, and all that goes with it, yes? And then you hear a scream. A scream of pain. You hear faintly, muffled, almost from a room next door. Hold him down! Hold him! God damn it, the gold has reached his shoulder! It's working towards his heart! And you look to where it's coming from, and you are back in the room. The noise is coming from where Wessel is laying there. Lying. Twitching. But there is no one there that you can see that would have made such noise. Before you're interrupted once again back by the blue man who goes, right. We very much believe that you can do this, Sia. And I have been authorized to tell you that the paternal grandmother of these children will allow you, Sia, herald to Alvina and Kashotan, and he says a word, but the noise escapes his lips. That, if you can do this, an exemption will be made to the gate. And upon certain criteria being made, she will allow Alvina and Kashotan to walk this world.
Well, if he comes to my room. Not, I'm playing D&D.
I will consider it purely because I want to speak to them about whether this is
Whether this is worth it?
what they want to walk this world.
Why wouldn't they want to walk this world?
Just not my decision is all I.
But it would be your decision, Sia. As the Herald, who knows not more than you?
Themselves. As any mother should know that they cannot speak about their child and
And yet
expect them to follow.
sometimes children must be told what to do.
When it is necessary. But this is still a decision that they need to make themselves, whether they decide they want to walk the world. And if that's what they want to do, then I will do it.
Fine.
But I must ask.
You can ask them. But know, Sia, that if you refuse this task, go out of your way to not do this task, sabotage this task in any way, or see to the death of these children by your hand or others, I can promise you, their mother will be most vengeful.
I promise you that I will not intentionally. I have my own goals in this world. If that is what they wish, I will help. And I will help if I am able to, regardless. But going out of my way to do so will be up to them.
Very well. And then he puts out his hand. Do we have a deal?
A deal.
He shakes your hand. And then the next thing you know, you are lying in bed. Eyes up at the ceiling. You hear the faint sounds of chopping. But it's not chopping wood or chopping into stone. It's the sound of cleaver into flesh before you are once again back into a deep sleep.
Wes.
Sick.
Brandon,
Mhm.
Mr. Finch, you lie there in bed, deep in sleep, and in this sleep, it feels like you're having a second life play out. One that could have been, that should have been. Can you roll for me a Constitution saving throw?
Mm-hmm. That's okay, actually. Oh. 17.
This other life, this other time, mixes, jumbles, mumbles with the memories. And it's hard, so hard, to differentiate what is real and what is not. But thanks to the eyes, you're able to acknowledge, or at least see for what it is. And it's memories of a past that has been. You know, unlike your friends, of a time that you have already lived up until this moment. You are aware that all that has changed between points, as slight as they may be, This sort of realization that Ezekiel's draw of a card has changed so much makes you get out of bed quick, fast, and awake, only for your feet to not touch wooden floor, but water. And as you quickly shift to look around, your scenery changes to one of a dark, black sky, a deep, black ocean, inky and void that stretches out as far as you can see. Until there is a light that moves closer and closer and closer, that sort of throws the darkness away, if but for a moment. The light takes a form, standing there, masculine in feature, size of a bugbear, muscled like a hobgoblin, and a smile that reaches ear to ear like any goblin you know. Golden in form. Finch, do you know who I am?
I might have a guess.
Then please, guess away. We have all the time.
Well, where are we?
You ask that question and your heart beats. Long and loud, echoing around you. The sound bouncing off the waves, as if it's lapping on a shore that doesn't exist. Your eyes burn to see. Your skin prickles and burns. Finch, I dare not want to call you a vessel, for that would be demeaning, in my humble opinion. I think of you as a friend. And where are we? We are in a holding cell. This is my little getaway.
Are we in a part of me? Or is this somewhere else?
We are in a part of you, which is a part of me. We are in the recesses of the heart. Darkened as it is, and he smiles, and as he does so, a light washes over the horizon, and for a brief moment, stars in their millions and their billions light up throughout the sky, reflecting color back onto the ocean, and it is beautiful. It seems that with our friend making a change to fate, some things have happened, and I have prematurely, to a small degree, awoken.
I see. Will... am I dreaming, or am I here?
Now that, Finch, is not a question that I can answer. But I can answer something else. You are aware that history has been rewritten, and where once you, we, us were on a journey to locate my other gems spread across the land of Arcosis, in parts no longer known to the people that hid them. For the reason of my awakening is that those gems have already been found, not by one, but by two other individuals. I feel myself being pulled in two other directions. I can say that At least for now, we are on the right path to meeting one of them.
Well, will I be able to talk to you further in the future? A lot of what I have been doing has been based on what I feel like your wishes may be.
My wishes? Finch, my wishes are like a spider's web of whatever I feel like. As I am not fully whole, I will not be able to give you as straight as answer as you would like. I can only give you parts of the whole image.
Well, I have your heart.
Indeed. An unfortunate way to get it, might I say.
What
Some
can
people-
your heart tell me about how Kushoten is doing?
You see him tense, and the gold that makes up his body flashes quickly, vibrantly with reds and oranges. And you see finally it calms down, and the face almost defeated, almost disappointed. It is good to see that she is alive. I am filled with regret for how things have turned out, Mr. Finch. But the knowledge of how those things turned eludes me to a certain degree. And then you are violently woken up as a cleaver carves into your leg. Looking around, you see the man that has taken over the form of the captain standing over Wessel. In hand, tools of surgery, barbaric in nature. You see a naked Wessel writhing in pain on his bed, his body fully golden. Hold him down! Hold him down! He cannot leave the bed. Where's that fucking warforged? He's meant to be in this room now! Before you are brought back to an ocean of calm.
What was that?
It seems that things are transpiring outside of this mind.
Okay, so maybe I can come and go in here as I please.
Experimentation, a friend of mine used to say, is the gateway to knowledge, both beneficial but also hazardous. I am filled with sorrow at what happened to him. I am filled with sorrow for what I have lost.
Well, is it something you would want if I were to... Most of the pieces of you that I have acquired have been pure chance. This is the first time I am seeking a piece of you. Is this a step towards the direction of resurrecting yourself? if I acquire all of these pieces, the gems, while not a burden, might better be served if they were carried with me in another.
That, Finch, is something I could not tell you. That destination is one only made up by your choice, your decision, your will alone. I was never one to force the opinions of others. Like the sun, it rises and it sets, and those who wake up on the morrow did so of their own volition. I loved my people, my subjects, my family.
Well, what about... Are you a memory, or are you partially alive?
It's that partially alive that you say that echoes out, and it feels like it takes minutes, hours for that echo to end. Not aggressive, but just a quiet question. And you blink, and the next thing you know, you are in a cave. It's dark, it's damp. Sounds of footsteps echoing through it. And there you see Yaroichi talking. But it's so hard to tell who he's talking to. Almost a blur, but not quite.
Oh shit, Yaroichi's alive!
I have made contact with our friend. But things have changed for him. He is no longer who I remember. And you hear him react to someone talking to him. This blurred image. He goes, "Yes, I know, and I'm aware of the stakes that we are all on. This journey, this destination has been... Don't tell me that I don't know. I know what's at hand, what's at stake. Thousands and thousands and thousands of years in the making. Tribulations and punishments. Do you know what it took for me to get him what we discussed? That was then lost? Or is that a lie as well? Don't think I couldn't take you. You both know I could. Yes. I will make contact with him again in Tianjin. I will set him upon the path. A more structured path. Yes, I know what has happened to the warlord. I don't want to go there. Do you know how much paperwork I have to fill out for this? How many of these little fucking side things that I have to deal with? I'm doing my best. What about you? Are you doing your best? What the fuck have you been doing for the last, I don't know, 50 years? Your little orders are all out there scurrying about, all doing their own thing. Chaos is everywhere. You know, for once, I would appreciate being let in just a little bit more. You've done it. You pushed me. I'm out of here. Fuck you. and you see him leave, and the doesn't just leave, he turns, walks a couple of steps, and then just, like an illusion, dissipates. Two other faceless people leave as well, only leaving this blurred person. You feel like you could see him if only you could focus just enough. If you wanted to focus just enough. Do you want to focus?
I would like to focus.
Roll for me a perception check.
Perception is going to be... Ooh. That is a dirty 30.
Fucking hell.
You see the blurriness disappear. Your eyes kick into this vision of the past. And there you see someone that you have seen in person, that you think, that you know has been chasing after you. A pale silver changeling. And you know who it is.
Mm.
And then you hear him say a word. He hums it to himself in a tune that you know, in that it sounds so familiar. Like you've heard him hum it before, say it before. Equator. But he hums it in such a sorrowful way. And it's that I have heard that before, but where? And it's that where that kicks into you, unconscious on the floor of a side-by hut made of bamboo and straw, being taken care of. A day or two since your fall and the loss of an eye by one Dr. Bushoji. A figure walks in, and you see it to be this silver-skinned changeling. So, Bushoji, how's he doing? Is he gonna live? He's going to live. I can guarantee it. Well, we didn't kill him. But the role is done. He's not gonna know, is he? I've taken upon myself to make sure he will not know. Good. And he looks sad that this whole thing has had to happen at all. Make sure you keep an eye on him. And you hear him quietly say under his breath, Equator. You've heard that word from him, scattered patches, moments of you in a different body, in a different form, before various caves, rooms, shadowy alleyways. But you've never read that word before until days ago. And you are back into that room, waking up out of the bed, feverish, hot. Sia, Ezekiel, Wessel, asleep on their beds. And you find yourself compelled to move to your backpack, where inside it is a book detailing the life of Goktengri before the war in heaven. And it's that Equator. You've seen it in the book towards the very end, a flip through the pages, a word not in or had been changed. It was in, surprisingly, common. The only word in common. And before you can grab the book to have a look, you turn the page, and as you turn the page, it shifts to you, lapping your hands in water, back under a now starry sky. Finch, seems you went wandering. Are you there? Hello. And he sort of just snapped his fingers at you.
Oh, yes, sorry, I'm not sure what happened there.
Look, if there's one thing that I can tell you, it's that the abilities given to me from my creation are sometimes hard to control. You know, the eyes, the eyes have a sense of foresight. And let me tell you, that foresight is a fucking huge curse. The future, ever changing, ever constant, like the flows of time. Sometimes I rue the fact that my parents ever gave me, or even allowed to give me that ability. Because let me tell you, they bargained, and they bargained bloody hard to allow me to have that ability. And none of the others had it. None of the other pantheons, none of the other gods had that. You know, there were prophets. There were people who could, to a certain degree, but no one had what I had. I had. There were concessions made, for sure. My parents had to give greatly. They could have no other kids. I was the only one, which is a rarity. All the other pantheons, all the other gods, their families are large. Brothers, sisters, fathers, aunts, nephews, great-fathers, great-aunts, great-nephews, grandsons. God, the pantheons were large. You should have seen it, Finch. God, when we used to have councils. And by councils, these were a place where we would all go high up on a mountain somewhere to a name I can no longer remember. But it was there during these councils where we'd all gather and converse, talk about laws and he said, she said, and hey, why are your kids picking on my kids, sort of thing. And it was all so tiresome to watch these other families squabble, contort. Over time, the children that you have change the way you are. And I was lucky. For my kids, at that time, took up after me in a much softer way. I'm not one for war. I can wage it. Believe me, Finch, I could wage a war like no other. I brought the power of the very sun. Other deities could say the same, but no one glows as much as me. She did, though. Just as bright. Just as beautiful. Very odd.
Is that your wife or your daughter?
My wife. Racked with grief. Racked with rage. I was, for what they did to her, for what I sacrificed for them, for all the souls that I had taken, for all the souls that I had yet not burned. and the sea boils, and it burns, and you feel a rage unlike any other. It could turn a man mad. It did, Finch. I went mad. It was then that I knew I could feel what my children felt, what the others felt. Rage and wrath. For the sun doesn't just provide the light for which the plants grow. It burns! It fucking burns! I hate them! That is what I feel, what I felt. What I could feel again. I felt it. Her divinity stripped, made mortal with a sense of immortality. What she had gone through, the loss of her mother, the fact that I had to take 2 more wives, some 2 more daughters. But that was moments of the past, fractured memories of the heart, and I am incomplete, and the whole image is just not there. You have my eyes, my skin, and my heart. Who has my flesh, my blood? Who has my brains and my memories? Who has my very soul? I felt it. My splintering, my fracture, the knives in my back perpetrated by my very being, split into 8. I feel it. Echoes. What happened to my dear mother and father? Where are the great Tangris? Finch? They are not around us. When people worship to them, who is giving them their answers? I don't feel it. I don't feel them around. My children have been corrupted, influenced, acquired. Their souls, when they die, where do they go? Where do they fucking go? I can tell you right now, Finch, when you die, where does your soul go? And I'll tell you, your soul goes to me. There is a pause, and in that pause, you hear Wessel scream. You hear a woman scream. Ah! Help me! My son! Your eyes close into a deep sleep. Ezekiel.
What a whistle, dude. That was very fucking good, dude. Sorry, that's fucking phenomenal. Yes, hello. I am here.
You dream of sand-covered hills, the dunes. Walking beside you is a humanoid figure, except one with the head of a cat, fur like a multitude of children that she has. Ezekiel, my champion. How you have twisted fate in a way to allow the bounties that were one lost to us within our grasp yet again. I am proud of you. Tell me, how do you feel? How are things?
Excitement is probably the best word I would use. Queen. The prosperity that will come to us. I will ensure that we get these peaches. It's once again, as you said, it's in our grasp. I don't see this mission failing. But I look forward to getting closer each day. And there is a part of me, admittedly, that feels wrong for maybe making this decision. That maybe should leave fate to be fate. But the burning of that peach tree was not fate. It was disgust. It was a blight. It was nothing that was meant to be. The peach tree have stood for many years, if I'm not mistaken. And it will
You are not
stand
mistaken.
longer than it was supposed to. So,
It will.
I would say that we are on the right path.
I say, Mr. Ezekiel, that we are on the correct path. I mean, with the tree still standing, still bright and light, those peaches could be ours, could be mine. And with it, a clawed extension of my domain. More humble servants, more humble people to love and join into the hands of our churches, to the worship of me, solely me.
And I would see it done.
You would. Because you do what I ask. With no hesitation, no delay, to the best of your ability. As I know you can, as I know you will, as I know you have been trained to do. Do you give me your hands, Ezekiel?
And I stop walking. And I look towards her. And I drop to a knee. Hand out.
She holds your hand. You must say it. To know that I know that it comes through you, through your heart, that you would give me your hands.
I look her in the eyes. And I say, I give you my hands.
And you feel a sweat drip down the back of your mane. Do you give me your sword, Ezekiel?
I give you my sword.
And another, and another. Sweat drips from your mane. And then something, you feel it, is off. Racing through your mind. No, it can't be. I was purged of this seaweed-like taint. And you instinctively just take your hand away from hers to quell the growing fear. And as you reach to the back of your head to where this sweat is not stopping, but increasing, there is no seaweed there. You are just sweating profusely. Why? Why am I feeling this sensation? And you have a choice to pause ever so slightly to figure out why.
What is she doing at this time as I grab the sweat?
Nothing. She is there, standing in front of you with a large grin on her face.
I grab more of the sweat and I will sniff it and taste it to see if it is salt water.
You sniff it, and it is tangy, not salty, bitter. There is something going on. You feel it from the sweat inside your very being, there is something going on. That's when you realize, in the labyrinth, everyone was given a boon. Do you remember what yours was?
I do not.
You don't have it, Mike? Should be on your notes.
Well, I deleted a lot of the magical shit. I wrote.
But that is okay.
I know I
'cause
got
can-
the thing that gave me the luck, the Wonder Stone. Or is that something different?
You were given a blessing by Alvina and Kashotan. You have an advantage on saving
Yes.
throws against being
Yes,
charmed.
yes. I got rid of that because I thought it was part of a magical item.
No, it is not part of a magical item. It is attached to your very essence. But the other part of that is that you are aware when your words are being used against you when either knowing or unknowingly making deals or contracts.
That's right, yes. And I feel that.
And you feel it, and you feel it.
I feel that and I sense it. And this is probably the first time I've actually ever sensed it. And so I get off from my knees and I like squint and I try to look hard at the Queen and see if this is real. This is legit.
You squint, and as you squint, your vision gets blurry. The sand gets hot, as if you are being questioned for your questioning. And as a whirlwind of sand kicks up, you close your eyes to protect your eyes for but a moment. And as you open them back up, you're watching yourself. Younger years. You're at home. The door to your house gets knocked on. It's the same thing that plays through your mind, or has played through your mind since it's very happened. Your mum opens the door, and there stands the man that gives you the news that your father has been killed in a raid. But there's something else. Affected, as you are, by the energies of the Fade line through the ship, by the divinitic energies emanating from Finch, get a small, ever so faint, clearer vision. And you always thought that when you see yourself in that memory, and the squint that you have, it was the sun from the outside shining in, blocking you from seeing the visage of the man and nothing behind him. The visage of the man isn't what is important. You end up finding out who he is later on, a member of one of the churches. But it's that thing behind him, that blurriness that could have just been heat from the sand, from the dunes in the distance. God, it's a smiling face. Devilish. Grinning. A woman of bronze. And it's that familiarity, unknown now becoming clearer, being made clearer, that kicks off changes of others, of you, wanting to seek revenge. So you join the local guild, into the local church, and your ruthlessness, your innate vengeance, your bloodthirst to kill the man that killed your father, oh, it's found. And they sink their hooks in deep. A vision flashes of you besting a fellow companion in combat trials. And for you, you bested them, you lifted your hand up, brought them upon their feet, and you were named Victor, one of many, for you were a strong kid, filled with a youthful energy, to both do good in the eyes of the Queen of Cats, who so lovingly has given you this opportunity for vengeance. But it's that blurry image of this devilish woman. As the vision shifts to you, lifting that child combatant up and plunging your sword through their chest. For only the strong can do what needs to be done. And the culling of the weak within these paladinic orders, or so you think is a paladinic order, must be done. And so you butcher your way through these trials and tribulations. You assault a home. Evidence points to it being one of a terrorist cell, hideout for raiders. Inside is one woman, armed with a spear. All you remember is guiding her through, and a single look of knowing upon her face. But it's that devilish smile in the background that clears that picture. It wasn't a terrorist cell. It wasn't a raided outpost. Your mind is wiped to make you whole. A useful weapon. And the last of your innocence had to be killed. Not by anyone's hand, but by your hand. And you see and look as this, at the time, this traitorous raider tries to cling to you, some form of grappling. You don't know in its death throes, but there is no grapple. It's just trying to hold you. Gurgles of why, disappointment. Ezekiel, my son, my son. I got you to kill your mother. And that's where the real tests began. Vision after vision of you going out, wiping cells, killing indiscriminate raiders. The visions change. These aren't bad guys. These are people that aren't following the hardline orthodoxy of the Queen of Cats. You are a hitman, a killer, a butcherer of innocence, satiated by the illusion bloodthirst that you have, until your final test, where you were told that they have finally found the man responsible for your father's death, and you leap at the chance. Inside the compound is what? 15 individuals. And you murdered them all, labeled a hero publicly for killing the head of the snake of this raider group. And you kill him, the man who killed your father. Because a piece of you, the last piece, died that day because the man you killed was your father. The last holdout. The last people that knew the truth of the situation of what was happening within certain sections of the cult of the Queen. For the Queen is not benevolent and has never said she was. The Queen is always curious, like any cats are. Deals, deliberations, emissaries are made. You know this, she does this all the time. But what you didn't know was that she deals in gifts and contracts with those of heretical means. One of those being a connection between her and a prime evil, one of the 9 lords of hell. They exchange gifts and knowledge every now and then, and sometimes they'll trade a worthy soul that they feel is worthy of ascending. And you, Ezekiel, were chosen time and again, sent out upon these missions. Job done, memory wiped, hail the hero. And you see flashes and glimpses of events that did transpire but were changed thanks to outside intervention, where underneath a certain building in a tunnel of dark means, you impale Finch, cleaving him up high above the ground for the gems that contain within him. You kill Oza in a cut off and sealed under a house, not because you need the potion to save Finch, but because he dare question your might. You blink, and there you are, kneeling still, sword in hand, stretched out towards the Queen of Cats. Where she asks you, in a heavy voice, a knowing look upon her eyes, as she sees, or has seen, exactly what you have seen. And she goes, Ezekiel, I have given you a life far better than any other. You have pledged your hands to me. You have pledged your sword to me. Now you must finish it. Pledge your heart to me. I remember once when you were a young boy, you said you loved me. Is that true, Ezekiel? Do you love
fuck
me?
off! Fuck off! Fuck off! Oh, no, no. Am I still profusely sweating?
The sweating has stopped.
Yeah.
For now, you know.
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh. Oh, I'm too deep. Every feeling of me sinks. My stomach sinks. My heart sinks. My eyes sink. And I look at my knees. And I look at the dunes of Ragash. And I say, I love you.
The words escape your mouth.
Yeah.
At least the feeling of the words escape. There is no noise.
Yeah.
The weight of this feeling, you almost mouth it. And as you blink, there is a calmness. And it seems like time just slows to a stop. You feel a hand on your shoulder. And as you look up to see, you see the horrified look of Wessel. He is naught but flesh and bone. He says, "Why did you do this to me? Why did you damn me, Ezekiel?"
I
did what you asked.
I stand up and I look at him like, Wessa, please, I did not mean for this to happen to you. I just saw him.
You have damned me, Ezekiel. My soul is ruined.
Wessa, please, I can make this right. I can make this right, please. And I reach my hand out to him.
He steps back. You wanted this, didn't you? You had hated Minokata. Surely you must have known that it was cursed. And then when I went to grab it, it would damn my soul. To escape your own fate. Punishment. For giving you those coins.
No, Wessel, please. Please, Wessel. That was not the intention.
And your vision goes black. See ya. We go back to you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Also, at a game, look, I'm sorry, guys. I did tell you all it was going to be a nice, lazy, easy game. I lied.
I hate Ezekiel so much.
See ya. You awaken. There is light coming from a now windowed port in your room that wasn't there before. Looks like Wessel, Ezekiel, and Finch still asleep in their bed. But you find that your emblem, your heraldic emblem, is next to you. And it's sort of shaking and vibrating.
I will take hold of it
I
and
need a drink.
try to meditate with it.
All right. You hold it, and it stops shaking. And as you focus, almost instantly, you hear Alvina. Ah, see ya. It is good to hear from you. How are you?
I am alive.
Oh, that is fabulous news. Fabulous. If you weren't, that would be bad for us. But with you alive and well, that's good. Why? What is on your mind?
I have had a blue winged being speak. And I wanted to get, if you would be interested, you and can want to walk to.
I dare say that would be quite beneficial. If we could walk the material plane, we could, probably more communicate, see each other in person, besides you being, coming over here to us. we could be down there, helping people, making real change.
I'd like that a lot.
It, as we've discussed, and from what you've seen, and from what we know, hope is a dying thing, and that we, as best as we can, how we are, but bring it back. If me and Kishoten could get down there, we could. God, we could do so much more.
The exact deal that is on the table to allow this is helping free the souls of these enslaved ships that are the children. They did not give me their name. And it was, in fact, the children's grandmother is willing to make an exception to the gate.
Children's grandmother. My knowledge is only that from which I am able to glean off you, and from what little I can speak to Kishoten. I'm not sure. Someone who may be able to allow us or give us the ability to walk the material. Who would have such power? There's, as far as we're lucky that we are able to communicate and speak to each other the way we do, such directness that you can come to see us without dying. To say a few, from what I understand from Kishoten, is that the gods and the divinities are all locked behind the Golden Gate, created there from the War in Heaven, where someone or something finally decided to had enough of all the tomfoolery and all the destruction that deities were causing on the Materium, and said, "Be gone." We're lucky. I think we got in after the gates were closed. To a certain degree.
That's a good way to understand it. Then I will do my best to help these souls. If that is what you wish.
Sia, I wish a great many things. For you to live a long life. For us to bring people's hope back up from what can only be described as I wouldn't say doomed world. That seems a bit too much. And as I'm trying to teach with Kishoten, we don't need to be so hard and aggressive. We can soften it up. A negative world viewing that people are having. My wants and needs are just to bring people into a greater sense of accomplishment. I cannot tell you what to do, Sia. I have always made that abundantly clear. You are what you set out to be. And let no one tell you otherwise or force you to be otherwise. How bad would it be of me to tell you, what to do,
I do appreciate that, but this is coming from a place of simply a mother.
And you feel her demeanor instantly change. Well then, in that case, yes, it is something that I want.
That I will help any way
Yes, and we can, on our end, help you as any way as you can. Sorry, Kishoten wanted me to let you know that, for some reason, I keep forgetting his name. I quietly call him Arslight when Kishoten's not around, but a Mr. Arclight. His siege upon the mountains, Kishoten says, is going very well. They're on day 2, and they feel like it is going well. Apparently, they are after some sort of skull. So if you could find out what that skull is, I would be in the loop just a little bit more.
I will do my best.
Yes. From what little I could pick up through eavesdropping, the skull is said to have been from a titan. Now, I know little of what titans are or what they were, so, I know little, and there's not much here in the way of books and paperwork. There's no homework or study for me to write up on.
Do you suppose there's a way I could send that through? If I find...
I'm sure there could be. I can't think of one right now, but I'm sure with our combined brain power, we could think of a way to increase my knowledge so I can understand more of the world. I try to teach Kashotin a softness, for she is still quite wounded, I would say, which is very understandable for her situation and predicament that she was in. Time is something that I would like to say we have, but as history has shown through your memories and from what I know, that time is a fickle thing. And there may be plenty of it, but it doesn't mean that we get pieces of it. You know what I mean? It's like someone saying,
Yeah.
there's all the pie in the world, but when you come up to bring a plate to grab some, someone's already eaten the pie. And I go, where's my slice? And they go, time's up. She talks of time, of Arclight, 2 days into the siege of the mountains. To your knowledge, Seer, that is 5 days. Because the last you heard was that Arclight was moving on the mountains in 3 days' time.
Are you saying that 5 days has passed?
I'm telling you, you could pick up the fact that 5 days has passed.
Since the ship crashed, do you mean?
Yeah. Since you closed your eyes.
Wow.
Time really is fickle.
Damn, this some fucking level 4 exhaustion shit when we wake up.
You look up, and it's that 5-day realization, and you look, and you see, while you hold your emblem in your hands, as Alvina talks about stuff that she's doing in the garden that sort of just becomes background noise, you see the illusion of the room shift and shake. Because the room doesn't have a porthole to see outside, it never did. And what you do see is a mangled corpse on the floor. Bloodstains streak the walls and the roof. Knives, cleavers, blacksmith tools lied about. Bloodstained. Blooded footprints all across Wessel's bed. God, and Wessel looks so thin. And there's a shimmer. And you feel it, malevolence, that is hovering above Ezekiel's bed. A shimmer of something, of someone. Before your attention is brought back. Sia, are you still there? You didn't say anything about the new flowers I put in.
Oh no. Oh no.
Something is... Don't know what. Something's...
Is something the matter, Mother? I can help. Think of me. Think of me hard, and I will help you. Okay? We can do this together. We've done it before. I'm sure we can do it again. God knows, I have pulled so much for you. And your mind flashes to a room of you ash on the floor, of the simple rising up, of the emblem splitting open, creating a rift, of the emblem. The emblem never left its spot of where your heart would be. And you look down, and in your hands isn't the emblem at all. It's your heart in your hands. And you feel the emblem inside. I feel a presence, Mother, in the room. It is dark and malevolent. Its attention is being turned towards you. I can feel it. You have to touch it. Sia, place your hand upon its essence. Can you do that for me?
And Tia will just reach a hand down.
You attempt to reach a hand out, but as you do so, God, the distance to the beds increases. Why does the room seem so large, so long? The further you extend a hand out to this essence over Ezekiel, the further it seems to slip away from your grasp. As you try to get up, it's the heart in your lap that weighs you down. And you hear Kishotan's voice cut straight through Alvina. Sia, we have our differences. And I play Alvina's games, and she means well. And I buy your spiels and speeches of forgiveness, and oh, I work hard. I dare not go against the grains of what is set in motion. But forgiveness, Sia, now that is a fickle thing, and the heart is heavy on your lap, so heavy you feel like it could crush your legs. Do you think you could forgive him, Sia, as you stare at Ezekiel?
Oh, God.
For what he has done, for what he will do? And you were shown, unfiltered, all that Ezekiel has done, without the honeyed imagery that was painted afterwards. You were shown an image of Ezekiel writhed in blood, heart in the clutches of his jaw, a child impaled upon his sword, risen high on a mountain of bodies, blood flowing like rivers and waterfalls of which you have never seen. And there you see on top of the pile, Finch, wounded, saddened and depressed. And you know that there is a strong possibility that right next to Finch could be you.
I can forgive Izzy because I do not believe that.
Goodness, go.
I need you to roll me a persuasion check.
Do I get to use the boon that I got that gives me, since they gave?
Is it... Have I frozen or is he frozen? Oh, that's me. apologies. Recording. I'm just waiting for my internet to reset. Alright, sorry for that. I don't know what the fuck happened. Shit just dropped.
Oh, there he goes again.
Oh no.
Anyway.
Hello, am I good?
I don't know. All I wanted was to become who I was before. Or at least remember who I was before. To be able to merge who I was with who I am. But now I'm not sure that that person and I are the same at all. So I don't know what kind of person I'm becoming. There are some things I've done that I don't like, but no reason to think that those things are trending either up or down.
Smart answer, Finch. And for you are a smart and intelligent vessel, and I can feel that my others are not so thoughtful. I like a great many things, Finch. Part of those great many things has been through you. Your morality, for some reason, appeals to me in certain ways. And I think for that, I will let you know what the door on the right will lead towards. All you have to do is place your hand on the handle.
What burden does each door carry? I wouldn't feel right abandoning one for another.
Picking one door, Finch, will lock in place your journey into the path that you are on, of divinity, of vesselage. The other door follows the exact same path, except there is no divinity. It is material bound. It is what you have collected in your life. It is what you will collect in your life. Grounded amongst the handful of things that you have, will have, might have. Whereas the other is much grander in scale. Where the things that you will have will slip through your fingers like sand. All knowing that it doesn't matter.
Are you asking me if upon your resurrection, if I would want to ascend to godhood? With you?
You wouldn't be ascending with me, Finch. You will be ascending as me. And that, I feel, is a great risk.
Then is this question one of a test of trust, of understanding?
I wouldn't call it a test, Finch. What I would call it is a choice of your future. One that I can help forge, within certainty, the outcome locked in place to a certain degree. For right now, of course, I can't exactly shape the world. But if you pick the left door, we will. At the end, the world will be shaped. We will see to our resurrection, whole, a singular entity. But know that when you ascend, you leave everything else behind. The days of walking with the common folk are long gone. And with ascension brings extreme hazardous. No other pantheon will want what we want. You will leave behind your friends, any family, any material possessions,
Let me see.
and maybe, after some time, that feeling will return, but it will never be the same. What is it? Baju Soju will never drink the same. Divinity is a path of loneliness, but with great power. Or you open the right door. And you help through the best of your abilities, without certainty of my resurrection. And I will do my best at the very end to try and see your survival.
Am
But
I
you
to
will
pick this door
remain.
now?
Yes. For I feel, and he cocks his head as if to hear something, but you hear nothing. That the same thing is being made to the other vessels.
Well, my next question will be, do you have a preference?
I cannot force. I have no preference. But what I can say is that if you pick the right door, you will be able to save a friend. Now. If you pick the left door, he is doomed to his fate.
Well, which friend?
The cat, Ezekiel, I believe his name is.
Doomed to his fate. I am very conflicted. How much time do we have in here?
That is not something I can tell you. I have no idea what time it is, or how fast time has passed.
Why is there an immediate difference between the two doors? Why does picking the right one save Ezekiel from his fate?
Because sometimes, Finch, you just have to forgive someone.
I will choose the right door.
Put your hand on the right door's handle, and as you do so, you hear a cacophony of sounds. People crying out your name, both in desperation, in plea, of admiration,
That's
of
good.
acceptance, friendliness, various emotions of Finch. Finch! Finch! Finch. You turn the handle and open the door, and as you do so, you appear in the room with the book in hand.
With the book?
The book that you got containing the history of Goktengri pre-War in Heaven.
Ah,
Open
yes.
at the back of the book, you stare at the word Equator. And you feel like saying it out loud.
What is the word? How is the word used in the book? Is it just the last word on the last page?
It is written almost hastily, scribbled in the top right corner, sort of cutting sideways. It's looking at it, you can see, and you look at it, and you know that it's magical in nature. It's the starting effect of a spell.
Where am I?
You're in the room, in your quarters on the ship.
And my leg is not injured?
No, you're standing there perfectly fine. Sia, Ezekiel, Wessel, all asleep in their bed.
Hmm.
You hear the soft sounds of crew cheering, playing games. Sounds like someone's just won at Sudoku. You hear the soft lapping of water along the ship.
Someone won at Sudoku. Yes, alright. I will, being aware of the change, I will get up, leave the quarters, and look around.
You get up, you go to leave the quarters, you open the door to step out, and as you do, you step back inside the room.
Hmm. I'll just attempt to leave again, no changes.
Yeah. Open the door, step out, step back in.
I can see out the door though, can I? Or am I literally looking into the same room?
You open the door, And it looks like the hallway to step into to go to the rest of the ship. And then as soon as you step foot to go out the door, you're instantly stepping back into the room.
Alright, well, I'll grab from my pocket the room 15 key that I still have for some reason. And I will just flick it through the doorway.
You flick it through the doorway, and it lands out in the hallway.
I will put the book back down on the bed, and then try to leave again.
Yeah. You put the book back down on the bed, you go to leave, you step back inside the room, the book is in your hand again, but on the bed is a deck of cards.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh no, what? What did I miss?
A deck of cards, which probably translates to a deck of many cards.
I will do the same thing. Oh, you know what? I will pick up the deck.
Yep.
I will put it in the book bag.
Yep.
I will put the book down on the bed, and I will leave.
Alright. You do the same. You open the door, step out, step back inside. The deck is now in your hand. The book is on the bed.
Okay.
And then you notice the only other additional change is that why does it smell so musty and like iron in here?
Well, then let me use my eye and ear and nose for detail. Let me have a look around the room, see if maybe I am still dreaming.
You want to roll a perception or investigation? Your choice.
I will. I think I'm slightly better at investigation. Oh, I am a lot better at investigation. Never mind. Holy. All right. Oh, this is going to be a fat one. That is 29.
You feel like you are still locked in a dream that is working against you in such a strange way. Every time you leave, the dream brings you back in. It wants you to do something, but things are changing ever so slightly every time you alter this repetition. Things start to slightly come back into focus. As if the real is blending in.
Oh, hang on. I
Bleeding
cannot
into the
hear.
dream.
Sorry.
Ooh!
Sorry. That's my headphones. Alright, go
Yes.
again, bud.
The dream feels like it's having a mind of its own. It wants you to do something. Whether that be in regards to the book, deck of cards, but every time you change something slightly to alter this sort of repetition, there is something real about what is happening. The material you feel to a certain degree is bleeding into this dream. And you feel this pulse, this bleed emanating, not from the book or from the deck of cards, which you feel has its own right of power within it, but it's coming from Wessel's side. And after one repetition, it's there, sort of floating above Wessel's feet, at his bed. Picked up from when he killed that plague-bearing sorceress in the labyrinth, a black hexagonal crystal.
I will. It's floating above his thing. I am. Is there anything I can discern about it without handling it in any way?
Yeah. You feel coming from it a bit of heat. You also feel a sense of familiarity, quite unlike the gems, in a sense that it feels like it holds something, as the gems hold something themselves. Part of a soul, or a soul.
Okay, I was gonna karate kick the shit out of this thing, but I'm not gonna do that anymore. I will, You know what? Would my cobalt soul thing work on this? My extort truth. If I were to touch it, would I be able to learn... Oh no, it merely prevents it from being able to lie. Never mind. I will touch it then.
You touch it. And as you do so, you feel the wailing screams of two souls trapped inside. You feel Wessel rage and contort and hammer upon bars of iron that don't exist. And you also hear the Warforged, the Hobgoblin. But his cries are more of a prayer to a creator to protect the Scion.
What should I do? Who is the Scion?
The wailing continues. There is no real answer to your question. And as you sort of look at this thing and then look down, you feel your feet get wet. And your feet are covered in blood. Blood escaping, dripping, flowing from Wessel's bed. From Wessel. Still covered by the sheets of the bed. Facial features hidden from view but still visible on the hooded cloak that he is wearing. The blood dripples down past your feet, and it doesn't feel or look like it's pooling naturally. In fact, it feels like it's moving of its own volition. And that look as to where it's going reveals a creature behind you, made of iron and wood, vines and sticks and leaves for veins, absorbing the blood from Wessel's body into its own.
Is this like... Does this feel malicious, or is this Wessel's essence from his doomed body seeking refuge in a constructed one in the same manner as his mother?
There is not much an answer that is given to you in the way of acknowledgement or words. But you see, almost ethereal like in nature, individuals working on this constructed body. You faintly hear the sounds of prayers being made to Alvina, to Kashotan. And you see his right arm turn to gold, skeletal in form, holding on to a golden glaive. And you feel like you hear a voice, familiar but so far away, go, another vessel. Not a rarity on this ship anymore.
Why? What is happening to him?
There is no response. But the blood stops pooling, stops moving, dries up. And its eyes light up. 2 rubies where the eyes would normally be, shining a small bright light into the room, emanating it. Before you feel like it sees you, Finch. And in these ruby eyes, there is naught but coldness behind them. You see that the face is being contorted and shaped, made more original. Ears, molded on, made of flesh, cast in iron. Mouth, adjusted, more like the original, snouted and long. But the rest of him is no longer what it was. And there, almost surprisingly, for how large it has become, coming out of you from behind his head, floating there, is the black hexagon. You see him stretch out his empty hand, and it floats to it, rests in the palm of it. And anything you feel emanating from that is a greed. A greed for gold.
All right.
Before it all just dissipates away. And you've just walked back into the room. Except this time, Sia is no longer laying in her bed. She's standing over Ezekiel, her hand outstretched onto something. There is nothing there, but you can see that her hand has grabbed something.
Do my eyes still work? Would I be able to use my eyes on Ezekiel?
Make a perception check for me.
That is going to be a dirty 20.
There is nothing that takes full form. there is a shimmering of energy of a being that stands atop, astriding Ezekiel. The shimmer shifts and flows, sometimes taking a more solid state in some cases, but it's hard to make out. A skin of bronze, female in nature. It's hard to really say. Sia's head snaps towards you, and you hear Kashotan's voice. Finch, can you see us?
Is that who I'm? Can I see her?
You see Sia. You see, the illusion apparatus of some woman over Ezekiel, but it's Kashotan's voice coming through Sia.
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I can hear you.
Well, that's good. I ask a favor. Through Sia, I need your help. Can you provide?
I am not sure. I'm not sure where I am.
We are still within your room. Sia is attempting to save Ezekiel's soul. I need your help to do so. She has decided to forgive him for his crimes and misdeeds.
Okay, what do you need from me?
Place your hand upon this creature. Channel the gems. I need you to channel my father as best you can. Can you do that?
I will try.
Excellent. What do you do, Mr. Finch?
I will follow the instructions and kind of just guess what channeling the gems mean.
All right. I need you to roll for me a religion check with advantage, please.
Okay, religion. Do I have good religion? I don't. That will be a dirty 20.
All right. You channel to the best of your ability what you think needs to be done. And it's enough. You feel this sort of call, this pull from Goktengri. The gems within you. And he said he would help you along this journey. And he does. And for a brief moment, you take the physical form of Goktengri. Golden Sun incarnate.
That's fucking sick, man. That's cool.
Ezekiel.
Yeah.
The screams of Wessel stop. You look and turn as your shoulder is pulled. You see the Queen of Cats standing there with an angry look on her face.
Yeah.
She goes, "Is your word not your bond, Ezekiel?"
Well, of course.
So do you love me? And you feel something. Hands on your shoulder. Looking back, there is no longer Wessel. To your right is Sia. Almost grabbing and pulling.
See ya.
And to your left is Finch. his small hands grabbing part of your shoulder as best he can. But he's pulling you with strength you didn't feel like he ever had. His eyes glowing gold, bright like the midday sun. You feel them pulling you. And only you are keeping yourself still there.
I feel it, and I feel like if I'm getting this feeling of like overexerting strength from Finch and from Sia, that the ties I have to this group are enough to pull me with them.
All right.
And I don't answer the voice that is coming out of the Queen of the Cats.
Okay.
Well, that's right, mate.
They pull you. You let go of your own hold. And as you do so, you feel you leave the sands of Ragash.
Yeah.
And you feel something leave you. Your power. Your strength. You feel it get cut. And you know that that power was not given to you by the Queen of Cats. And the next thing anybody knows is you are all waking up. Naturally. There is a figure in the room, hurriedly busy, tucking you guys in, one by one. It's... Who is this in the room? This strange fellow. You're awake! It is good to see you are all waking up. We feared for the worst.
What's happening?
I dare thought you would not wake at all, but the human fellow said that you would rest for some time.
How long did we rest for?
Why, it's been 7 moons now you've been asleep.
7 moons.
Yes.
7 days?
Yes, 7 days. Quite right. We're nearly on the 8th.
What time is it now?
I dare say it's close to supper.
Well, I guess then we're probably going to be very hungry then.
I assure you would be. I've been doing my best to force feed you myself. I've been giving you potato soup.
Well then, let's make this supper a good one. It'll take us a bit of time to come to the table. I'm sure that we have all had weird dreams as of late.
Yes, well, that's understandable.
What does this person look like?
He looks. He's a bugbear. Old. You've seen him around. He is part of the ship's crew. He just hasn't really talked to anybody. He used to mainly keep to himself. But it's one of the crew members that survived. I will let everybody know that you're awake. And with that, he hurries out the door.
Where's Wessel?
You look around, and Wessel is not in the room.
Where is Wessel?
He's already left.
Can I use my
I was
eyes?
about to ask you, yes, to be honest.
Yeah, if you want to use your eyes to see where Wessel is, go ahead.
Alright.
Your vision goes dark, and it feels like you just shift through the wall, and you see a figure cloaked in clothes that weren't originally his, walking up the hallway to the door to your room. And you see him, Finch, the way you saw him in your dreams. Before your vision ends and the door to the room opens, and standing there is Wessel, who now looks like that in the D&D chat.
Oh no. Alright, guys.
Damn, he has red eyes now. Everyone's got their eyes. We've got the golden eyes versus the green eyes versus the red eyes.
So, you're all finally awake.
Wessel. And I stand up and I approach him. I go, I am incredibly sorry.
Look, how are we to know?
And I like kind of like apologize and recount what I saw in my vision of it was not at all a punishment. It was not at all a revenge. I promise you, I had no idea. And if I can undo this, I will.
There's no undoing it. Ezekiel, this is who I am now. And he lifts up his sleeve, the one where he's holding the golden glaive, and you see that up until sort of just past the elbow is a golden skeletal arm.
Oh no. Does it hurt?
Not anymore. But it is good to see you all awake. It was a struggle to feed you, that is for sure.
When did you wake up?
I never slept.
You never slept,
No,
and you haven't slept since.
I no longer need to,
How does
in a certain way.
you don't feel the need to sleep?
Power down. Rest. But I don't need to sleep.
Right. There's no fur on him anymore, is there?
No, he is, from what you can see, iron and wood.
Yeah. Do you miss your fur?
It is what it is.
I'll prod no more.
But dinner is going to be served soon. I must go and help prepare. We are very, very short on crew. But please, when you can, come join us. And with that, he walks away.
I like sit back down on my bed and I like look towards Finch and look towards Sia with like a genuine concerned face. And I say, was I right in seeing you guys in my vision? Did you See me?
Yeah. That was something. I asked Elvina and Kusha.
I don't know if your mic cut out. I just heard I asked Avina and Shoten.
I asked Elvina and Kishoten to help get rid of it. They was
Well, I saw things that I haven't yet processed, but I thank you for helping me out of it. And you too, Finch. I was pulled out of the trance I was in with you, and I didn't know you had the strength. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome. I wasn't entirely sure what was happening, but I saw that you needed help. I wasn't awake. I wasn't sure what was happening, or if anything in the dream would have consequences.
I think it is. Oh, yes, Sia?
Go ahead, I'll talk.
I was just going to say, I think the effects of the cards are starting to take place. Or have taken place.
Look, at that point, Sia's gonna explain the blue man, the deal that was made. Not so much out of for them to need, but also to understand the people out who we have no idea about that could potentially be looking.
Yeah.
I will say, Beck, you're cutting out a little bit.
Yeah, you have to turn your sensitivity up a little bit just to pick up all the in-betweeners.
What was missed?
We heard it. It was just more,
Okay.
I took the and like that. So we heard it. Just, you know.
Speaking softly as well.
Yeah, just to say,
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. And I hear what she says, and I say, well, it seems there are many things at play. I think, and I think I know, the peach tree's returned.
Would
You
Sia
are
know
aware-
that the world has changed? Essentially.
No. You are unaware that the world has been changed. The only thing nothing has changed for you, just that this is now what has happened.
Okay. What are you talking about, Ezekiel?
I was given the opportunity of a lifetime
You were left, yeah.
in that the card that I drew in saving Finch in the battle granted me a wish, or granted me an opportunity to change an event. In my vision, I sought out and was given the beech tree back. It was no longer burned. And so the peach tree stands today. Ready for a champion to take its sweet bearings. I
Right
don't know
then.
the full extent of what that consequence has on the world. but I can only see from what has happened with Wessel that some things are very different.
Okay.
There are things that I also saw in my vision that I do not wish to share in regards to my upbringing that I was not aware had changed. But I think it's probably time for me to maybe get some real food into me. Potato soup is nice and all, but only good when side with a bit of steak. I'm gonna head upstairs and help him get this food ready to go. And I walk past the beds, I walk past Wessel's bed. Stop.
You can see the stained blood on the floor.
Yeah, I look at it, I stare for maybe like 5 seconds. Look down, then forward, and walk out the room to where I'm pretty sure I know, where the kitchen is. Or where the food will be prepared / served.
Yeah, none of that has really changed.
Yeah, so cool.
And you walk out there, and you are right on time. Sort of Wessel is out there helping dish up, and it is such a ghost crew.
Yeah.
You've got like 10 members sort of basically left. Wessel is there. Raijin and Fusion are also there. They give you a hey, you're awake sort of thing, but sort of besides eating themselves, and then sort of situated by himself is a human, male human, and he's like early 20s, sort of eating by himself, in that there's no one from the crew around him, but he's not alone. He has these toothy-mouthed creatures around him. There's like 8 of them.
Yeah, wow, okay. I see that, quite perplexed, but I will ensure that I follow Wessel's lead, and I will help feed the crew before I feed myself. As a sort of way to, I don't know, really like, such a small way to repent that actually means fuck all, but just helps me feel like I'm okay. And that I am not what I appeared to be in that vision.
No worries.
Yeah, I can't wait to level up just this experience alone.
Sia and Finch, what are you guys doing?
Unless Finch wants to talk more, I'll do the same.
No, I'm probably just gonna chill here for a little bit. Maybe consider what else I want to use the eyes on. I'm not even sure if I want to. Yeah. Yeah, just think about everything that's just happened.
Worries.
Until supper is ready.
Yeah. Sia, you head out, making your way towards the eatery. Everything's getting plated and set up. You know, taking in the fact that there's like less than 20 people still left on the ship, and the time it used to take to get everybody ready, seated, and fed is now drastically less. But it also means that everybody gets to eat just that little bit more. So, you know, there's a downside to every upside. But you know, you arrive, sort of you're plated next to Wessel and Ezekiel. The bugbear comes up and he goes, "Right, is Master Finch, is he coming in as well, or is he staying in the room? Does he want some potato soup? I still have some made up."
I'm sure he's hungry. I'm just not sure if he's mentally able to leave the room at the moment.
I can always go and ask. I've been doing nothing on the ship lately. And you see him hobble out. Finch, you hear a knock on the door, and he goes, Master Finch, would you like to come and have dinner?
Oh yes. Yes, I will come and have something to eat.
No worries, please come on in. You hear him walk away. And he returns to the group. Finch, you leave the room, arrive at dinner, and essentially everyone is served nice food because the crew had nothing to do. You find out from the crew and Wessel that the ship hasn't moved. It has stayed in its spot in the air since Sia stopped the ship. Any attempts to moving the ship has not succeeded.
That's okay. It won't move without permission. Our first idea should be to figure out where or what direction we should go, at least.
Ooh, do we know where we are?
Unless the
Wessel
crew has...
goes, we got no idea. We don't know where we are. We're off the coast somewhere. But it's hard to tell. No one really understands the shipwright's paperwork. But none of us have the capability to feed the ship, so to speak.
Then maybe going east would be the best direction, just to be able to find where we are and what the closest city is.
A landmark. Wait, let me go into my bag. Do I still have... Because I'm assuming it would be changed. Do I still have that gem map?
You have the gem map, except it is no longer the gem map. It is where the last known locations were of a goblin. Apparently, this goblin, no one knows his name, just that he is a harbinger of warlord gems, and that he assassinated the Kargan in the Karganet for his warlord gem, stole 2 others. Word on the wind was that he had fought the champion twice, which is where the sort of, how we saw the sun for the 3rd time sort of thing. Apparently that was because of that. But yeah, the warlord. The map is based on not warlord gems, but
the champion is immortal, right? He fought the immortal champion twice.
Yeah.
That's kind of fucked up because that kind of sounds like he beat him twice.
So they say. So you've been told, so is what has been heard on the grapevine, that
For God's sake, dude.
the champion fought this goblin, and that at the first fighting there was the sight of a second son, and then later on he fought apparently the champion again, and then after that fight the champion has never been seen since.
Goktangri's own son, eh? True son of Goktangri. Okay. So how much of this new history do I remember as someone who predominantly is remembering the old history? Is it kind of just what you were saying before, where like I have a vague... It's like I've been plopped in and I have vague top-level memory of what's going on?
So essentially you know all that has happened within this universe. Everything from before feels like a dream that you're able to recollect to a certain degree. So you would know that you're out to sea to the west of somewhere between the towns of Haisan and Shangxi.
Right, because I was more so asking due to would I know which of these places I'd already looked for this goblin.
So it is still the original plan that you guys were going to go to Cheongjin, a location of where this goblin might be, but also because there is a platinum ring holder there who has knowledge of the gullet, which is where the captain's wife was taken. So it's a sort of still the sort of focal point for a bunch of people's things.
Yes, okay. I just wanted to make sure. Well, yes, we could go east. I'm not sure about recklessly traveling east into unknown lands, but we do need to find a point of reference by which we can find out where we are. So, heading eastward to find any orientation and then immediately back on course. Safe pathways to the mountain by sort of a few days away from Cheongjin, and then on foot the rest of the way.
Yes, because of the shift of the new world that you're in, the original plan was that you guys would sail in between Shang-Chi and Hai Sen through the air on the ship, park somewhere near there, because the captain knew an underground group that resides there, and then you guys would travel essentially on foot.
Is the captain still the possessed person we last saw him as?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's still the human surrounded by toothy mauled demons.
Yep.
He's just over there feeding the demons food from bowls. Every now and then you see him staring at you guys, but apart from that, he's not doing anything else.
God, my mind has turned into mush.
Um, as we finish up dinner, do I know the prayer room still exists, right?
It still exists.
And it's not fucked up, like too fucked up.
Huh?
Alright, cool. Once I finish dinner, I'm just gonna like turn to the group, like, I'm just going to excuse myself for a moment. I need to tend to something very quickly. And I finish a wig on my drink, slam the cup down, and I head towards the prayer room.
No worries.
I mean, with an idea of what direction to head next, as a tentative head east until we can at least figure out where we were. So he's going to go to the control room and see what needs to be done to get headed in that direction.
Mr. Finch, what are you going to be doing? Or what would you like to do?
I don't know. I'm feeling quite passive reactionary right now.
You be feeling like a boat on water, bruh. Don't know where you're going with the waves.
Yeah, let's go. Is this like a Harry Potter looking in the mirror scenario where I reach down into my pocket and the deck of many things is in there?
You reach down and into your pocket, and it is not the deck of many things that greets you. It is the book detailing the life of Gogtengri Pre.
Damn,
Warren
big
Heaven.
pockets. I hear, bruh. Big pockets.
Uh, I will open back up to that page with Equitor on it.
Yes.
And I don't know. I am just going to try and discern what it is. Maybe potentially even read over the final chapter a couple of times to see if I can understand try and comprehend any sort of context.
No worries. Are you doing that at the eatery, or are you going to go back to your room for that?
I mean, how busy is the eatery?
I mean, it's not very busy. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I'll just do it there then.
yeah, no worries. Wessel is going to excuse himself and make his way towards the top of the deck, and as he leaves, so too does the human, followed by his toothy mauled minions. Right, Ezekiel,
Yeah.
what are we doing, brother?
So I go into the prayer room to be as private as humanly possible,
Yes.
and I reflect on how I felt my power fall away when I left that vision,
Yes.
and I will grab onto the symbol of the Queen of Cats, and I want to confirm if I still have an oath that I can swear to, or the oath that I swore to her still exists.
All right, roll for me a religious check, please.
Would love to, mate. Would love to. Use the purple die or the Hulk Hogan die? Let's use purple die. Terrible decision. That would result in me having a 14, bro.
You don't feel anything back.
Fuck.
There is no return, no purr, no slight breathing, no whisper on the whiskers. There is silence.
I look up and I just fall into a rage. I rip the symbol off my neck. I throw it against the wall. I presume I've got my shield on my back. I grab the shield and I fucking frisbee this thing against a wall.
Yeah.
I fucking go into an absolute like fit. I start ripping at my mane. I fucking scream like I just yeah. I just lose it. I absolutely lose it. And I just sit. No, not sit. I just fucking I'm kneel on my both knees and I just fucking head to the floor, start punching the floor. That's not funny, mate. It's not funny at all. And I weep. I cry. And I do that for the better part of 45 minutes.
No worries, brother. Excellent. So yeah, you head into the control room for the ship. Roll for me a investigation check, please.
21.
All right. Rolling through what information you sort of can read, because a lot of it's in Elvish, and then sort of going over what information you already know. You're able to ascertain that when you stand within at least the communication circle, you can feed into the ship. And the ship requires arcane energy, which for you translates into spell slots.
Alright. With the connection open, is the ship able to talk as a response, or is it more just like a feeling sort of response?
Would we like to find out?
Yes.
Alright. So you're going to have to just stand in the circle and sort of pour into the ship 3 spell slots. Of any level, but it has to be 3. That is the minimum and maximum to power the ship.
Alright, 2 first and a second.
Standing in the circle, throwing your arcane energy into the ship, reaching out with your mind to what you had conversed with before. And as you do so, your eyes go dark, and you feel yourself now opening your eyes into a swirling, calm, black void. You see a image of a creature writhing in a black smoke sort of stop near you, and he goes, "So you are the new master of this ship. You have fed me. What is your command?"
Before I command, may I ask you some questions?
I am at your back at order.
What is your name?
And you see it pause, and the smoke stops swirling, and it just stops before it picks up again. I do not have a name. I am what I am. That is all I know.
Do you remember your mother?
I remember moments, fleeting and quick. Her smile. I remember the cauldron from which we came. I hear the sounds of the house moving across the land.
Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
Well, I thank you. From your memories of running this ship, do you believe we are at a safe height from sea monsters and other?
Would not tell you if we are safe from creatures of the sea. But I can tell you that we are not very far from the water.
Is there a way that you can contact me when you are feeling you are running low?
Yes, I believe I could do that. I feel, shipwright, your very blood. I could smell it run through the veins of this ship. I feel a sense of familiarity from you, like you are a sister to me.
Okay. Then I would like to ask if you are willing to raise us up and then head east. And of course, reach out when you are low, and I will help.
By your command, east we will go, to the clouds we arise, and you are brought back into your body as you feel the ship rise, turn, and move.
Okay. I'm gonna go find Finn.
All right. Finch,
Yes.
can you roll for me an investigation check, please?
Whew. Investigation is going to be another 29.
Nice.
What's your lowest you could roll?
The lowest I could roll for investigation would be, I guess with eye and ear for detail, it would be a dirty 20.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, 8 plus 12 would be 20.
Damn, you're like fucking, I don't know, Batman with all the shit.
Going through the book, not so much disregarding Equator at the end, but just the rest of the book itself. You know from reading the first 2 chapters of this 4-chapter book that the book is written shedding good light on Gok Tengri, his accomplishments, his sort of mediations, his godliness, paragon of virtue, the smile in everyone's eye. But that underneath that, there is a second part to it, which feels more dark and grounded, of Gok Tengri's ruthlessness when dealing with other patrons, when his dealings with other realms, his attitude towards certain subjects, very much sort of in the opposite direction. Like, yeah, Gok Tengri's really good, and then you read this hidden messaging throughout it, and it's like, turns out Gok Tengri was a fucking scumbag. He didn't actually marry the Queen of Fae and her sister. He took them. These were forced marriages. The kids were these. The child that Gok Tengri has is not made out of love. That's for sure. Gok Tengri fucking did a bunch of heinous acts, but it seems very much written by the same person. The standout is the Equator, written at the back with arcane writing. It is the beginning to a spell. Illusory in nature, you think. But the book reads like it's missing the middle ground. The book reads like 2 extremes, and that in between it is a semblance of truth.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
Hmm.
What's your feet now?
And there is like nothing else.
No, not really. Just that the book written in extremes, that there is a sense of truth in between the middle, or at least juxtaposed somewhere. The only thing besides that is Equator, written on the book, used in magic for maybe an illusory type thing. The only other connection you have to that is the fact that Yuktashiga, the guy, this changeling that knew you before you lost your memory, that you had dealings with, would say this word or hum it.
Hmm. The whole crew is here, right? There's not. Is there anyone missing?
Um,
Let's go to all
the only people missing besides your party members is no one. The 10 or 11 crew members are here. Raijin and Fusion are there, eating away. Wessel's left, along with the human and his little demon goblins. Ezekiel left. Sia left.
Where are the wizards?
They are nowhere to be seen.
Then I'd like to go looking.
All right. And you search the ship and don't find them.
So even their room is empty.
Yeah, their room has not been touched. You ask about the location of the wizards, and you are told that they were turned to dust as the ship was falling from the sky.
Yo. Okay. Are my eyes letting me see that Equator is an illusion, or
Your eyes are letting you see that Equator is written in the equivalent of invisible spell ink.
right? At the risk that this does something bad, I will merely just brush my thumb over the lettering.
Yeah, it does nothing. You feel the engravings within the paper.
And then I say the word.
All right. Where are you when you were doing this, so we can paint the room?
I am probably just still... Oh, I went to the wizard's room, I would have asked about where they were, and someone would have told me, and I probably would have just walked to the side of wherever that was right then and there.
All right. So in a hallway somewhere within the ship, you sort of have the book open at the final page, Equator etched in invisible spell ink. And as you thumb it over, you say the word. And as you
I'll try to say it, because this is magic, something I'm not super familiar with. I try to copy the cadence that I've heard it said before.
and you say Equator the way Yuktashiga would say Equator, which is Equator. And you say it, and the book shakes, you hold on, and then your mind is flashed with a vision. The book containing recorded message, visual, audio. All right. My son, you must hear me out. The sounds of explosions of magic being casted, the sounds of a crumbling castle somewhere in the distance, the earth shaking. I have found the truth to the situation. It was wrong. It was all wrong, my son. There was a first wife. The Titomina were not the first. It was a huge, huge lie. Goktengri found love, and then he lost her. There's something. It had something to do with the war with the Titans, and there was a first child before there was Kishoten. Birthed between Goktengri and God, her name still eludes me. They did stricken from record, but her daughter had a name. Frigrid. She was born and then he gets shucked to the side as people push past him. The sounds of, "Get to the armaments! Get to the armaments! We must hold out for as long as we can!" My son, Tengri, he went mad. It all had to do with the Shadow Lord. 1,000 years, like a blink of an eye. But they got to him, the Void Lords. In a moment of Tengri's weakness, they got to him. Hooks. And from those hooks, separation and divide, the mortal cadence and weakness of our love for things dark infected him in his moment of despair. And from that despair, become 8. A war is coming, my son. But Gok Tengri prepared. I saw it. A book made of his own blood, detailing history, rules, regulations, things that he knows. A jade of book made of pure jade out there. Okay, I instruct this to you, my son. The last known will be the last known member of knowledge of this knowledge. Find the book. You must find the daughter. She is out there. There was a deal made so that this daughter would remain safe. No, she is not of goblinoid or human make. She has become Fey. That is the only clue I have to breach the walls. My death is imminent. They have found our hidden abode. My son, Yukta, I curse you with a destiny that will not give you the life that you led. You are destined, my son, for greatness, and I burden you with this. And he speaks in a language you cannot understand. His last word is Equitor! The book shunts from his location, appearing in a quiet house, appearing on a table, walking into the room, alerted by the thud, is a changeling. He says. This is the book that my father was working on. And as he picks up the book, he is assaulted with energy, implanted within the book's pages. He is cursed with immortality. And that's where that vision ends. And the book lying in your hand, still within that hallway.
It feels like quite a few things from early on just clicked in a little bit there.
Your attention is shortly taken away as Seeger rounds the corner, and you sort of, oh, there's Seeger.
Oh, hello.
You look like you've seen some shit.
Well, I've seen a lot of shit recently. But putting it all together is not necessary yet.
Okay.
How far along is the ship?
It's only just started. Who knows how long it will take before we get back to land, or close enough to see where we are.
All right. Well, I mean, how have you been? I have not really asked how either of you have been with everything.
I don't exactly blame you for that. We all have our shit going through. But anyways, I think I'm okay. I mean, besides dying and being resurrected.
Yeah, that one definitely got to be a downer. But it's impressive if you're doing okay despite that, despite everything.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, I better go check up on some stuff. So I'll see you later.
Good luck.
Unless you needed something.
You can wait.
All right. And I will head to the prayer room.
Um, you head down there, and sort of leaving there is Ezekiel, who looks distraught, eyes red.
Eyes red.
In the sense that it looks like he's been crying. Not as in they are bread.
Oh.
Yeah, like bloodshot.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Out of character. Lol. In character. Oh. Hello.
I brushed past him, going back to the rooms.
That's okay. I am down here to contemplate.
Contemplate away, my friend.
Excellent.
Your excellent choice. Ezekiel, you head back to your room. Sia, what are you doing?
Suppose if there's anything she can help with around the ship, that's what she'll do. If not, she'll go back to the room to, yes, also contemplate.
You speak to some of the crew that are around in regards to if you can help with anything, and they basically tell you, like, not really. I mean, the 7 days that they've had, basically, they're doing nothing. They've taken care of everything as best they can. You find out that they held a funeral sort of service for the crew members that had died, which was quite a lot of them, where they were given a small prayer thanks to Rajan and Fujin, and then they were ceremoniously dumped overboard.
Then before I go back to the room, I will find Raijin and Fujin and just more or less say thank you for doing things
That's
and
your own fault.
glad that you've been able to handle things well.
Yeah, you find them sort of talking amongst themselves. You see that they look sort of just very tired. They've got really big, bags under their eyes. Rajan goes, Harold, look, we did the best that we could with, it was a long day. A lot of praying and dumping. We had to clean up so much blood, but it had to be done. We couldn't keep the bodies on the ship. We'd risk disease.
Of course. Well,
But
if cleanup is done, you best take care of yourself.
yes, we the last 2 days we have been keeping quiet prayers. Every now and then we feel like we get a presence that at least Elvina is watching over us, so that is enough for us.
Glad. And she's gonna see them off and then head back to the room.
No worries. You get back to the room. Ezekiel's there just before you got there. No sign of Wessel coming back to talk to you guys or not.
Do I still have her sword?
You do, yes.
I pull it out to her, and I throw it to her bed. I'm like, there is no need for me to have this anymore. And I can't really hide my anger and my upsetness. And I tend to seem like she has left me.
Well,
I am lost. I do not want to be here. I should have gone to the shrine when I had the chance. I should have done. I should have said that I love her. I need to sleep. I need to sleep now. And I get into my bed. And I like lie down facing the roof. And I sleep with my hands in my head. My head, my hands.
No worries.
And I try to sleep.
Sia, once she thinks he's asleep, so not to offend, Sia will give a small prayer. Not so much for him to find a new religion or change anything about himself, but more that he finds peace eventually and knows what direction to go next. I don't know how
Very
else to help
nice.
him.
Very kind of you.
Roll for me a religion check, please.
Which one of us?
See ya.
10.
Alright. You feel like you at least were heard. But an aspect like this, something you've never dealt with before, you don't really know how to help. Besides offering up what few words you can.
I guess with nothing else to do, she's just gonna go to the kitchen and see if she can make some alcohol.
I need a drink.
No worries.
Buddy.
Finch, contemplation.
Yes.
What are we doing?
Really, I am just trying to, I guess not really reevaluate, but just sort of re-examine my goals. You just using the prayer room as somewhere where I can do that. But yeah, just re-examining, like okay, the thing that's important to me, is this thing still important to me? I'm kind of just doing lots of short-term planning. What is the long-term? What does the end look like? I've made my choice in regards to what the ultimate conclusion is, but what is the reason for that? And with everything that's going on, what is important to me versus, gun to head, what could be shed if it came down to it. That kind of stuff.
Alright. Sort of down there and just sifting through all of this. You turn your head because you feel like the door just moved, and as you sort of go to look, the door hasn't. And you turn back and you see you standing there.
I stand up immediately.
So what are we doing?
Who are you?
I'm you. What are we doing?
Why do you... What do you mean you are me?
I'm you. We are Finch.
And are you real? I'll take a step forward with my quarterstaff. and just sort of like poke him in the foot.
You poke through him. Doesn't appear to be real. Or at least physically there. What's the plan? Are we to just find these 2 other vessels, and then what? Kill them, take their gems, and then what?
Well, we would... I don't know that I want to talk to you about this.
Talk to me.
I don't know what's happening.
You're talking to yourself. That's what's happening.
Yes. Not a great sign of my current state.
We gave up divinity, Finch. So that we could, what? Still be mortal? Still lug around? And who are we? What accomplishments have we made to get us to stand out?
We have a history that spans a year and change.
Was it worth it?
I am just going to like look around to see if anyone else is like down here.
No one else is down here.
Would I be able to use the eyes on myself? Maybe specifically the apparition before me.
No.
Would I be able to see the future, please?
You want to see your future?
Yes, but focusing on... I mean, I understand if it'll show me myself, but I am more so specifically thinking of the version of me in front of me.
All right. You...
And I failed the Constitution check, so that will be damage.
You go blank, and then you open your eyes again, and you are staring at yourself in a prayer room. But you are then moved out and away into... God, it is so hard for you to see what that other door would be. It's not fighting you. It's just not there. Before coming back to you staring at yourself.
Okay. Ow, fuck. That stretch was bad. Then, with that in mind, I think I will... what was the last thing that the version of me said?
Do you think that was worth it?
Do you think that was worth it? I will just merely say... everything one does in its existence is worth it if it affected something else. We have affected a lot of things, and we will continue to do so until this task is done.
What is our task?
And then I just sit back down in contemplation with the belief that I am going fucking crazy.
It comes up, sits next to you, and just looks at you, and just goes, "You've ruined us. You have ruined us." Before you turn to look at it, and it's no longer there.
Okay.
Sia, while you're down in the kitchen attempting to make alcohol, you feel a cold presence come up behind you, and as you turn to look, it is the human. It was taken over command and contorted the body of the captain.
Hello. I don't believe we've had a chance to meet yet.
No, we haven't had a chance to meet. I just want to say that the captain is very sorry.
Well, I hope whatever your plan is works then.
Well, my plan involves you and your friends to save my daughter. You know, saving my daughter, which you and your compatriots agreed to, or which I will make sure that you see through.
Was he concerned that we wouldn't?
I was concerned that you wouldn't. The captain had faith. He was not originally a religious man, but your way with words, Sia, seemed to have softened some of the blow. But at the time, it was, I wouldn't say too late, but I have my strengths.
I really just don't know what to say anymore.
All you can say, Sia, is that, yes, I will endeavor to make sure that your daughter will be found, saved from the gullet. My life on the line for it. And I will be happy to accept that answer. And in return, I will make sure that whatever plans you have will help come into fruition.
Well, then,
That's-
more than happy to agree to do my best to help your daughter. I do not like the idea of having my own life on the line too. If I should.
Nobody does. But the chaotic nature of this world, sometimes things happen.
In which case, all I will say is that I will do what I can. The plan is to go and rescue her. But if it's physically something that I cannot stop, I am not putting my life on the line for it.
That is understandable. You will be happy to know that per the contract arrangement between me and my son-in-law Rikoshi, I am forbidden of laying a hand against you or your friends.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And trust me, he argued pretty hard.
Well, I had hoped he would be here when she got back.
He will be. I will make sure of it. The contract is special. I am a favored of Orcus, as crazy that might be, I have special privileges that allow me small amounts of extra freedom. And you'll be happy to know that I am part of the reason why your friend Wessel is still among us. Not in his current form,
feel
but
that
he
might have
is...
been the case.
Well, I had a major hand. Your apprentices, or priests, Raijin and Fusion, they were a big involvement as well. Their prayers and divine magics worked some way.
May I ask what happened?
The short of it is that the glaive that he picked up contained the soul and essence of one devilish fiend called Munakata. In his dying breath, Munakata cursed the glaive with his soul, thinking that his killer would be the one to pick it up. Alas, it was not so when Wessel was the one that laid his hand upon it. Wessel was going to die. At the very least, he would die. His body was being taken over by the soul of Munakata. Wessel dares not tell us what sort of conversations he had with the devil, only that conversations were had. And Munakata has given himself to Wessel to help him along his journey. Some sort of vengeance scheme or trials and tribulations. Not my concern. My only concern was that I was forced to help in such a situation, per code of the contract, to make sure that the crew and you four no harm and that you guys would live. Fortunately, we had a warforged on the ship, and that fortunately, the black crystal that Wessel had stolen from some sorcerer or what have you in some form of labyrinth I dare not care about, realizing that its true potential was a harnesser of souls, which has worked great for Wessel, for he is naturally able to do that, working the essence of spirits that he normally can do. So, we put Wessel's soul into the body of the Warforged. Now, let me tell you, that was hard work. Warforged are stubborn things. Naturally, anyway. And their souls do their very best to fight back against perceived corruption. But, luckily, this Warforged had a strange case, and we were able to operate on Wessel. His heart was transplanted into the Warforged body. And so is his soul. Except he's not how he was. From what I'm able to gather from the crew that survived, Wessel before was a little bit quiet. Sort of stuck to his own. Spoke up when he could. Now Wessel is quiet of a different nature. A darker one. He's not alone in his mind. He converses with 3 others. Munakata is there, thanks to the glaive. Could not get rid of it. It was attached, already bound to his soul, like hooks in fish. So we did the best that we could. Trapped also within his mind is the shattered soul of a Warforged. Like a screaming, echoing schizophrenic.
Well, so thank you for your help then.
No worries. I am here to help. And he flashes a smile that is not inherently gross, but there is something superbly off about it. Before he gives you a nod and walks away.
is it with people in this country and their fancy words and half-truth bullshit?
You make your drink now unimposed. It tastes like shit, but alcoholic nonetheless. And what would you like to do now?
How much of it is there?
There's a lot. You guys weren't out for sea that long. Fully stocked, and because you've lost so much crew, not much has been taken. Even after 7 days have passed.
Then I would like to make enough for the team, and then kind of just bottle it, take it back to quarters, give it out when people are awake or in the room.
No worries. You do that, head back to the room, see that Wessel is already in there, so he's not laying down, he's sort of sitting at the bed. His eyes are glowing a dull red, holding the glaive in one hand, and the black hexagonal crystal is just slowly floating around his head, like a halo. Wessel there looks to be unconscious and asleep, and that's it. Unless Finch ends up back to the room before then, he is not there.
Well, then at that point, it's just a matter of downtime. Just lounging around, I guess. Until it's tiring enough to go back to bed.
It doesn't really take long. Just the after effects of the toll that has happened to you takes in, and sort of now that you've settled down again, the weight of all that has transpired kicks in, and you head off to sleep. Finch, what about you, my friend?
I mean, I would still just be contemplating, but I guess once it got late enough, I would also just go to bed. To be honest, I would probably sleep down there.
Yeah,
There's enough pillows and shit.
Yeah, you can grab pillows to just sleep down there. There's none inside that room, but you know the storage shed is right next door, so it doesn't matter.
Yep.
And with that, everybody has a long rest, and that's where we'll end today's session.
God damn,
Excellent.
dude. A plus. A plus 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 plus. When you were doing the Goktanjiri stuff with Brandon the first time, bro, it sounded like I was fucking listening to a Horus Heresy fucking book, man. His fucking voice was sick. It was really fucking awesome words, well fucking said. I really enjoyed that, dude. That's really fucking cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was dope. Big fan of that session.
Literally just speechless.
Yeah,
It was amazing.
very well done.
I'm not but a novice DM.
Wow.
You need to stop
You
saying
can't
that.
say that shit now, dude. That's not fucking. I've got video footage of you fucking not being novice. Or do have footage of you being novice fucking 3 years ago.
No, that was the peak, dude. That one
Oh,
orc.
straight into orc, yeah.
It's been downhill ever since, dude.
That's true. Look, I'll take any time when this fucking ultra world shit happens, but you just give me an orc trying to sell some beef jerky with a high pitched voice. That's the best
That's where
D&D
it's at.
ever played.
That's what I call D&D.
What's D&D to me? An orc selling beef jerky with a Mickey Mouse voice. Ain't nothing.
Yeah, you love
better.
it. No, but I'm glad everybody enjoyed the session.
Yeah, Super Baller, dude. Now I need to figure out Ezekiel. So
Yes, which we can talk about.
yes,
which I was hoping to talk to you about earlier in the week.
Yeah, I know. We can do it now though if you're keen. Are you still there, Brendan, by any chance?
Yeah, I'm just muting because I'm typing, so I just don't
That's
want it to
cool.
be noisy.
Do you mind if I, before you go to D&D tonight, do you mind if I just pull you into another room to talk about something real quick?
Yeah.
All right, I'll back to 2 seconds, Jake, and then we'll get through Zeagle.
No worries.
I'll start recording.